Darrington Press is making some power moves today. And welcome to a special episode of Bards and Barrels. Ross here along with me, Phil, for the ride today. Some breaking news, maybe not breaking news, but news this morning from Darrington Press. Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins both going to work after they have announced that they left Wizards of the Coast. And we're going to give you a little bit of our knee-jerk reaction to this and kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown on how things happened this morning, what we know, and then a little bit of our thoughts.
Yeah.
So first things first, one of the things that Darrington Press announced this morning were the titles for these two gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, big titles.
Yeah, for sure. So Chris Perkins is actually going to be the creative director for Darrington Press now, while Jeremy Crawford is going to be the game designer.
Game director, right?
Game director,
Yeah.
yes. So we immediately went and did some quick dives through some previous books, and it sure feels like similar roles to where they've been, but at the same time also a step up, Phil?
I think, some of it. Almost, it feels like some of it's going to be equal to what they were doing maybe for Wizards, but I think they're going to take on even a little bit of an elevated role somewhere like Darrington, right? It doesn't quite have as length of history. So, big roles for sure.
I think the biggest line from Darrington when they announced this was that I'm going to be reading some things here just to make sure that I tell everybody this correctly. But they said these two will be developing novel concepts as well as expanding upon games we've released so far at Darrington Press. So that's interesting because, over the last month or so, I feel like we've heard some people talking about how Candela, even Daggerheart, since it's been out, feels not wonky, like good reviews on both of those, obviously,
Right.
but a little disjointed in some ways. And what a better way to fix those problems than to bring in guys with decades of experience.
Right, absolutely. I think we even talked about this recently. Like, I love Candela, but other than it's not meant to have really, really long campaigns. So what if you want that style of play? I mean, these guys have built it, right? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic, or at least super interesting just to see kind of the process from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, brace yourselves, because I feel like Darrington is going to have like a exponential change in how their games are developed now and how they play. Now, it may not be, obviously they have the system down. Now it's making it feel like this really cohesive game and cohesive world.
Well, one of the things in all those years of experience these guys have, right, is tons of editing experience too. So for them to come in and take a look at the games that already exist and to get their expertise on hey, what has worked, what hasn't worked, I think it's just going to be huge for Darrington.
Yeah. So one of the things I thought was interesting this morning as well was after Darrington had made the announcement that they had hired Perkins and Crawford, Wizards of the Coast made an announcement too, basically saying, I think that in their posts I saw was like, oh, the kobold's out of the bag now, so we can talk about this. But they linked to an article from the LA Times, believe it or not. So interesting takes from that article, I think, was one, how Jeremy Crawford talked about how he was going to be at Wizards of the Coast through the 50th anniversary of D&D. Because him and Perkins had done a considerable amount of work with the new core rule books, and then heading into the books that are basically going to release over the next 3 to 4 years.
Right. Right.
But that he had been working on his succession plan and how the company was going to operate after he left. So it's just one of those things just to quell some things that might be out there, given this is speculation on our part.
Sure.
But it doesn't feel like this was, something he's doing out of spite by any means. It's just like he felt it was time to move on to the next thing more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, what was it, 18 years or something like that he'd been with Wizards?
Yeah, and he said that in the article too, that he had been there for 18 years and he was just ready to try something different, move on to something different.
That's fair.
But I think one of the most interesting takes, I'm going to read this directly out of the LA Times article, was Travis Willingham, who is the CEO of Critical Role, said, when we first caught wind that they were thinking about taking time off from where they were at, he said, hey, listen, we're over here making cool, nerdy things. If it's ever of interest to come over to Critical Role and mess around with what we're doing, we would love to have a conversation. I mean, how can they turn that down? it's just
Yeah.
one of those deals where it's like, you've been through something for 18 years, you've been hammering it hard, doing a lot of the same things, trying to revise it, make it better. And now all of a sudden somebody's saying, hey, come over here and be creative with us and create something completely different.
And I think it totally fits what they said, right? Like they're ready to do something different. They've been doing the same thing forever. Let's challenge that creativity, right? Like come in as a creative director, right? And develop new, or hey, here's this brand new system that you didn't help write. Help us make it better. I think those types of challenges are really what they were looking for. I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's a really good fit.
I think so.
It's only going to make Darrington's products better from where they're at now. And it's already really good stuff. So let's talk about just a little bit of our thoughts here in general. I think the first thing I would want to say is like anybody who's like on the extremes of this topic right now, I would just say take a deep breath. I don't think this is the end for Wizards of the Coast, and it certainly doesn't mean guaranteed success for Darrington either. I think it's this moderation. I think Darrington realized that there was something missing from their process. So they hired people with a lot of experience doing what they want to do to fix it. And Wizards of the Coast, at least according to Jeremy Crawford, they've been working on that succession plan. So they know the next steps for where they're going. So I don't think D&D and Wizards of the Coast are going anywhere. And Darrington's only bound to get better.
Well, I think so for the people on the extremes too, right? Like if 2024/5 came out and you're like, I don't love this, right? Stick around because there is a succession plan and things are going to change at Wizards of the Coast because of this as well. So I think you're going to see changes coming across the board, which I'm excited about because ultimately just for the TTRPG community as a whole, this is good news. Like this is going to create growth. It's going to create creativity. It's just going to open up other avenues that we can play. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. And I think over the next, coming weeks and months, we're going to get more information on what was going on. But more than anything, we just wanted to give everybody out there our knee-jerk reaction to kind of what was going on. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Maybe it quelled some fears a little bit out there. Maybe it sparked some new fears. I don't know. Hopefully, let us know where you fit in this whole discussion in the comments. But we'll try to keep you as updated as we can. So until next time, we'll see you later.